There he is. Had to move around a little bit today to find some fish, but once I found them, it looks like I got a pretty good group of them here. This is not a bad fish at all. There we go. Oh yeah, I'll catch these guys all day. That's a nice spotted bass right there. It's Dalton, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about January fishing. Kind of give you the conditions out here. I'm going to try to fish some different things. You know, this is just a 3/8 ounce jig. I threw a little grub, a little single tail grub. I was getting a lot of small bites with it. And then, in fact, I wasn't even getting hooked. They were so small. There might be a little bluegill or something. And right now I'm just working the edges of these rocks and see if I can catch more with this jig or whatever else I throw. Here we go. Another one here. What we got here? Got a largemouth or spot. Take a look here. That's a fish. Yeah, there's a largemouth right. Is that a largemouth or a spot? Take a look here. That's a spot. Spotted bass there. One of the ways to tell the difference if they look kind of similar, at least it's the way I do it, is I feel their tongue. A largemouth bass, his tongue is very smooth. A spotted bass has a very rigid tongue. That one there was kind of a green fish, so it kind of looked like a largemouth at first. And all I did was felt that tongue, and you know, it was pretty rigid, so I knew at that point it was spotted bass. I'm throwing this little Ned rig here. It's a little different than the way I usually throw it. I've got it on an 1/8 ounce ball head jig. And what I'm doing is I'm hopping it off the bottom. So basically I'm using a jig and worm approach with just a little Ned rig. That one there tricked me. I was just getting ready to move it. Little guy took it right on the falls, what he did. Here's a largemouth right here. I've been catching a few more largemouth out here. They're not all real big. That's definitely a largemouth. I had to put some super glue on this ball head jig. This bait kept slipping off. They really like this color out here. It's called Hot Snakes. It's got some chartreuse, and I'm not sure what the other color is. It almost looks like a watermelon color, but it works really good. It's been working for me good this winter. I'm gonna try some a little bit deeper ones today with that 3/4 ounce football jig. I've caught some pretty decent ones out here with it. Just real quick, water temperatures out here are, well, I'm back here partially into the river, 54 degrees surface temperature. Back up at the ramp area, 55 degrees. So I got out here late today. It was all fogged in. It was, I looked on 805 webcam. I mean, there was so much fog. I'm like, okay, forget it. I'll just wait. So I didn't even get out here and start fishing until almost 11 o'clock. So what I'm trying to do is find areas like this. It's got some shade, has some nice steep rocky walls, and a lot of these fish are just getting right up on those walls. And I try to get a bait like this just to sort of let it fall real slow, and sometimes I'll have it and I won't even know it. But I've been getting a lot of bites in this area on this. It's been fun. The water temperature out here has been holding pretty steady for the last couple of weeks, and the water clarity is really good. Gosh, you probably see 3-4 feet. Kind of see how I'm working this little bait. I got it on a ball head jig. I'm just sort of scooting it, giving it a couple little hops, let it set, and the fish are kind of roaming around in here. So I'll be fishing in here, and they'll be here. I'll get a few bites, then they'll slow down for a little while. So what they're doing is they're just kind of chasing bait along the sides of this wall. And if I wait a few minutes, they'll come right back, or another group of them will, and I'll wind up, you know, catching some. Like I say, I won't get a bite for a few minutes. A little largemouth here. I won't get a bite for a few minutes, and then they'll start biting again. I'm surprised how many small largemouth I'm catching over here. It just tells me they had a good spawn. The lake levels stayed up better this year, and a lot of those largemouth, they'll spawn in that shallow water. So when they were making their beds, that water get drained out and dry their beds up. And I think that was a lot of the spawning issues. But I'm finding more, I'm catching more and more largemouth right now, which is awesome. I would love for the largemouth population to shoot back up out here really good. Let's see if you guys, oh goodness. Well, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. That particular retrieve, though, I did want to show you. There are times when I'm fishing a bait like this that I'll just go ahead and just put my rod straight down on top of the water there, just right above the water, and I will just slowly sweep my rod. And I always know when they're biting because the rod tip just kind of moves a little bit, and sometimes it helps keep the bait down. There's a little breeze out here with this light weight, so when I put my rod tip down like that, it helps keep the bait down better. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I only fished about 2.5, 3 hours today. Caught quite a few fish. And the two things that really worked for me was a little 3/8 ounce jig. This one here's I kind of changed the color. I went to a green pumpkin blue, but I kept the PBJ little worm on there, that little TRD. That seems to work pretty good for me. The other one was the little jig and worm I showed you. I already put it away. I just took a ball head jig, 1/8 ounce, and just took a little Ned rig and just was hopping it off the bottom. Just the same as if I would use a robo worm or whatever. I just chose to use that one because I've been biting that color so good. They were kind of, in different depths today. Where I did my best, I'm doing a lot better back in the river than I am on the main lake right now. But where I do my best is when I get up against those vertical walls, and I just throw the jig up against the wall, wait till it lands on a platform, move it a little bit. Sometimes they already have it before I even move it. They already got it in their mouth. So they've been real good on the jig. I would recommend the jig the entire month of January. I just think they're on it really good right now. As far as I went over your water temperatures, and clarity's really good. I was talking up at the front gate this morning. It seems like Lake Nacimiento has pretty much kind of narrowed down how they're going to do the inspections and what they expect from boaters in terms of this, this California gold mussel situation. San Antonio, I think, is doing about the same thing. Where I'm going to be fishing this year, well, I'm going to be fishing these lakes the most, San Antonio and Nacimiento, but I might also head over to Margarita and fish 3 or 4 times over there as well. I know that at Lake Berryessa right now, I don't know if you guys seen this, there's a video on YouTube. They have decontamination, 2 decontamination stations. Right now it's free. I don't think it's going to stay that way, but right now it's free. You just have to set an appointment, and if you take your boat over there and you want to get in, it's just a few minutes. They completely decontaminate your boat, your engine, all of that, and you get right in the water. And then you'll be tagged Berryessa. As long as you're tagged Berryessa, you can go in and out, whenever you please. So that's something to keep in mind, because I did talk to one of my friends out here who was really concerned about Berryessa because it's one of his favorite lakes. They do have 2 decon stations now, so that makes a big difference. You just have to set an appointment. You can find those videos on YouTube. They're pretty interesting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head on home. Like I say, I only got 2.5, 3 hours. Didn't want to get out here real early. Didn't want to stay real late. Just want to come out, catch a few fish, and give you guys a kind of a January report of what's going on out here. Fish are biting really good. And in multiple depths. There's a lot of them out really deep. Typically when they're out real deep, sometimes I get them on a spoon. This is a 1 ounce spoon. Today, did not get a single bite. Also did not get a single bite on my 3/4 ounce jig, which is my favorite right now, but I didn't get a bite, and that's okay. Most of them I was catching was shallow up against those rocks. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you as always. Look forward to a good year of fishing. Talk to you next time.